Hey folks, I wanted to go over the items that are included in my neck knife sheath kits and the reason that I went with these items. Primarily, I went with these items because at some time I needed one of these items, and I figured I would just put it on my neck knife sheath and I'd have it if I needed it. All of them basically have the same stuff. Pardon my fingers, I was dyeing leather today. But they have a Wazoo Survival Gear Viking Whetstone, a Wazoo ferro rod toggle. They have a Ranger band, which is also from Wazoo, a small chem light, a piece of fat wood, a safety pin, and an awl. This happens to be the food fid that I have in this one. This one has the normal small, which is just 1/8 inch CRV tool steel, and a glow nut. I have a couple different glow nuts here. A friend of mine made me this one, so it lives on there. The biggest reason that I put these items, like I said, is because I needed something at some point. Now this, I've dropped stuff before. You know, I'm human. But they're from Who Is Citizen E, and they're like super outrageously bright. Like they glow all the time. So, in my mind, if I drop this, I can go back at dusk with the flashlight and turn the flashlight off once I'm out there and hopefully spot this if I retrace my tracks. So that's the reason for the glow nuts. The whetstone is pretty self-explanatory. I sharpen, most of the time I just drop my knives. I don't ever have to sharpen them really unless I've messed something up. But I do sharpen the awls on them from time to time. And it's not nothing fancy. Just touch them up. And all my awls are 4-sided. So you can just go around and hit what you got and it'll put a good point on those guys. They're sharp. And that rolls into the awls. Damn, I say them a bunch, don't I? I gotta get used to that. But I try to keep an awl for poking holes, be it in wood reaming, reaming something out. If you need to put a hole in something, these guys will put a small hole in it. This will also scrape a ferro rod if I wanted to, or put a hole in a tin or a piece of leather, cloth, whatever it may be. I have the ability to put a small hole in it versus trying to use the tip of my knife, which that would work too, but the awl is just easier to work with. The chem light is just they're pretty bright. They don't last about 4 hours, I think, but it would still give you some light if you needed light in a pinch. I keep the flashlight in my pocket, so it would really take something crazy going on for me to rely on this chem light, but it's on there anyway. The ferro rod is just a spare way to make fire, and that goes hand in hand with this fat wood. A piece of fat wood will last you a long time if you shave it, or if you're just really in a bad spot, you shouldn't have a problem getting a fire started with this much fat wood on here. It's a pretty decent chunk on there. So you should be able to get 2 going with that, no problem. You should probably be able to get 5, but if you're just in a pinch, you could use half of this piece and not have a problem getting some going. I also have a beeswax candle on this one, and a small, can't hardly see it, but back behind there's a high carbon steel striker back there too. Just another way to make fire. And the safety pin, because nobody likes splinters. You could possibly dig one out with the awl, but this is better to do it with, is the safety pin. And the Ranger bands just kind of hold everything together. But you could split it in half and still hold everything together and use it for tinder if you needed to. So this one has the food fit on it, just because I like eating stuff. And you could waller a hole out with that one if you wanted to, but I don't sharpen those like I do the normal awls. But a scribe, a small awl for holes, and being able to eat something with this is why I kept it on there. And if I really wanted to sharpen it, I got a whetstone that I could sharpen it with. This one my daughter made for me, and it used to live on here. That's why it's all shiny. You can see where I had sharpened it on the front side versus where it's never been used. But my buddy Jerry sent me this. This is the Cash Muck. It's AEBL in Scandi. So I put a kit on there just to have them the way I wanted them. And all my knife kits have these, just because I don't want to be swapping stuff around. If I want to take one with me, I want to get my knife and I want to go. But that is the items and the rambling reason behind why I have them on there. Forgive me for saying 300 times. I'll try to get better at that. But you can subscribe. I'll have to go back and redo all of my videos that I had on here. I used to have on IGTV. Well, it doesn't exist anymore. So I'm going to be redoing them on the YouTube. But feel free to subscribe and tag along with everything. And I'll catch y'all next time. Thanks for watching.